MSNBC has canceled the ReidOut, Joy Reid show. Put it up full mass. Here we go. This is a shocking move, even from MSNBC. So Joy Reid's series, the ReidOut, was canceled after 5 years on the network, leaving a glaring hole in MSNBC's lineup as they continue to, as they would say, reorganize after losing viewership after the 2024 election. The timing is troubling on multiple fronts, especially considering Reid just took home not one, but 2 NAACP Image Awards over the weekend for her journalistic work on her show as well as her book, debuting on the air in July 2020. The ReidOut marked MSNBC's first primetime show anchored by a Black woman. MSNBC plans to replace Reid in the 7 p.m. hour with a trio of hosts, former Kamala Harris advisor, Simone Sanders Townsend, former Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Steele, and Alicia Menendez, that is the daughter of New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez. The 3 currently host The Weekend. It's a show created by MSNBC president Rebecca Cutler. Alex Wagner is also being removed as the host of the 9 p.m. show on MSNBC. Hour on the evenings, Rachel Maddow doesn't host, but unlike Reid, Wagner will remain at the network as a correspondent. Let's put her up. So the move took Reid and her staffers by surprise. So Rebecca Cutler, the MSNBC president who just took the wheel earlier this month, called the hasty virtual meeting with staffers on Joy Reid's show, the ReidOut, after news of the program's cancellation leaked to the media, and an audio recording of that meeting was then leaked. Oliver Darcy published a report of Cutler's tense and emotional digital argument with angered ReidOut staffers in his status newsletter, describing how the new leader of MSNBC had, quote, abruptly summoned the staffers on Sunday morning shortly after the news leak. First reported by Variety and the New York Times that the 7 p.m. weeknight show would be airing its final episode sometime this week. Now, first, why do you think it got leaked? It got leaked because there were some fair-minded individuals involved in the process who did not like it. That's why. And so they decided, since they were in receipt of the information, to leak it. According to Darcy, the meeting lasted almost 30 minutes, okay? Quote, staffers expressed frustration and disbelief, outraged that they had learned of their show's fate from reports in the press rather than leadership. He wrote and challenged network leadership to explain why the show was canceled and what that meant for their jobs. The bad news came swiftly, with Cutler confirming that, quote, the entire staff had been laid off, wrote Darcy, adding that the staffers were told they would receive severance through April and were encouraged to apply to other positions within MSNBC, but this did little to soothe their nerves. Regarding the leaked news, Cutler says she was, quote, incredibly disappointed that this happened in this way. But staffers were still outraged, with one person telling the network president that it was a terrible, terrible way to learn about our fate. Cutler insisted that Donald Trump was not a factor, end quote, Darcy reported. An idea that has sparked much speculation, considering Reid's critiques of the president and the chatter around Jim Acosta's departure from CNN last month. One staffer posed a question to Ms. Cutler, point blank. If Trump had influenced the decision to cancel the ReidOut, Cutler replied, no, it did not. Speaking of Trump, so Donald Trump wasted no time taking a victory lap after MSNBC announced that it would be canceling Joy Reid's show, the ReidOut, and the host would be leaving the network, branding Reid a, quote, mentally obnoxious racist and demanding the network pay for, quote, damage done to the country. Taken to Truth Social, he attacked Reid and other hosts like Rachel Maddow while bashing the whole network as, quote, nothing more than an illegal arm of the Democratic Party, end quote. Now, back in October, do you remember this? We covered a story about a documentary. This documentary was about Donald Trump, his administration, the family separation policy, not airing before Election Day because MSNBC was concerned about offending the Republican presidential nominee. That's according to new reports. Now, if you remember during that time, it was scheduled to air before the election. And then all of a sudden, a decision was made. Oh, no, we can't air that. We're going to offend people. Trump. This is journalism now. MSNBC. You all continue to F up. I mean, bad. And the reality is individuals who look to you for news, they're getting hip to it. All right. I spent some time at MSNBC myself. I did early Sunday mornings for like a year and a half, very early. Political commentary on this and political commentary on that. MSNBC, you got good people over there. You got some folk that really give a damn. But decisions like this, it continues to chip away at the morality that you currently have, leveraging individuals who have held it down for you during key moments in our society and the pivot that's happening in the nation. Now, you may believe you're on the right side, but I promise you, you are not. History would judge the decisions that you have made with Ms. Reid and others fairly. Because right now, the reason why you're losing viewers is not because you had the wrong host. It is because you have the wrong heart. And you don't have heart for this. You have heart for profits. You don't have heart to stand up for what is right. You only stand up for what is right when it's seemingly convenient for you. There are many who would join the ranks of becoming a consumer of your content if you showed heart. But decisions like this shows me and many others exactly where your heart is. All right, dear brother, what are your thoughts here?
Well, you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head where it's all about profits. First of all, it's never a good time to fire anybody, but it's really a bad time to fire them on a weekend. Because they're at a barbecue, they're having a good time, and then these staffers open up the news and they go, we just got fired? Like, let them get to Monday at least. You do it on Monday, and then you go, you got all week, just take the week off. But it's just not a good look. It's a really bad look. And what's depressing, Dr. Richey, is in college, I remember taking some courses about being critical of the media. What's the angle? Whose point of view is it? Is it fake news? And there was a time when fake news was fake news. But now the right has done such a good job of flipping the whole narrative and making this type of news, like what Joy Reid does, what Rachel Maddow does, these people, they've call it fake news. They attack it to the point where it's depressing to watch Fox News, who's actually fake news, have their ratings go up because more and more people are attracted to that kind of outrageous nonsense. And you have people who are deep thinkers like Joy Reid or, again, Rachel Maddow or some of the other anchors on this network who have to struggle against their own bosses to let them lean into this point of view. As you said, they scratched that documentary that they had that was going to show the mistreatment of people from the Trump administration. And it's sad to see that all of these folks, and this is where we realize it really is about the bottom line, about the profit. They've all come to kiss the ring. And you look at what happened on January 6th or January 7th, when all of those heads of the social media companies started banning Donald Trump from social media, which made sense because he tried to overthrow a democratically elected government. He was basically trying to do an insurrection, and he failed. And yet that somehow went full circle to the point where all of those owners of those companies, they donated $1 million to his inauguration and sat front row. And so there's no more. Where's the resistance? Where's the resistance? And unfortunately, you have a lot of soldiers who are willing to resist, like your Joy Reids, like yourself here, like others. But you have top brass who have lost their drive to do so. And that's a dangerous slope to go down, because eventually, if all media is state media, we're screwed, sir.
Yep, there you go, 100%. And that's the issue. This guy effectively is in control of the conservative media, the down the middle media, if there is one, and left-leaning media, obviously on network.
My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. And you know, I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
All right, we'll bring you updates as they come.